Are you drifting through life without direction, moving through each day like a ghost of your potential, tired of being enslaved by a system designed to weaken your spirit, drain your energy, and keep you compliant? Then listen carefully to what history's greatest warrior king has to teach you. Leonidas, king of Sparta, made the ultimate sacrifice alongside 300 of his finest warriors against Xerxes' massive army, numbering in the hundreds of thousands. He never retreated from his position. He never begged for mercy or negotiated with tyrants. He never compromised his values for temporary comfort. He lived by an unbreakable code, forged in blood, honor, and absolute commitment. And that same ancient code can completely revolutionize your modern existence today. These are the 9 principles no modern guru, life coach, or self-help evangelist will teach you. Why won't they share this ancient wisdom? Because these truths don't comfort your ego. They systematically forge steel from weakness, discipline from chaos, and warriors from victims. If you possess the courage to endure them, you'll be reborn as someone completely different. If you flee from their harsh demands, you'll remain just another face in the crowd, another casualty of mediocrity. The choice, as it has always been throughout history, rests entirely in your hands. Your presence here isn't coincidental. Something deep within you recognizes that change is inevitable, and you're absolutely right. So commit to this journey completely. These 9 principles aren't motivational speeches, they're instruments of transformation. If any of them strikes your core, share your experience below. If this content awakens something dormant within you, pass it on to those still sleeping. Revolution begins in silence, but it begins now. If this story inspired you, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Share it with someone who needs to hear it today, and make sure to subscribe for more content like this. And hey, don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss a moment of wisdom and warrior spirit. Now let's dive in. The ancient wisdom in modern times. In our current era of manufactured crises, engineered distractions, moral confusion, and endless streams of meaningless content, countless people desperately chase ready-made solutions, empty inspirational quotes, and internet prophets promising instant transformation. Social media feeds us lies about success. Traditional education systems prepare us for obsolete careers. Political leaders offer nothing but division and empty promises. Yet there exists wisdom far more ancient, infinitely more demanding, and exponentially more effective, forged in brutal times when existence meant constant struggle, and dying with honor was considered infinitely superior to living in fear, shame, or submission. This is our sacred mission, to resurrect and modernize the indomitable spirit of a king who faced mathematically impossible odds, not merely with raw physical strength, but with unshakable inner resolve, crystal clear purpose, and absolute moral certainty. Leonidas of Sparta transcends mere historical documentation or Hollywood dramatization. He embodies the ultimate archetype, the stoic warrior philosopher. A man who consciously chose death, standing upright over life, spent kneeling in submission. A leader who possessed profound understanding of discipline's true power, courage's deepest meaning, and individual accountability's absolute necessity. He wasn't driven by fleeting desires, temporary pleasures, or external validation, but by an immutable code carved from centuries of Spartan wisdom. And this code, despite originating in the 5th century BC, possesses more practical relevance and transformative power in today's world than the combined teachings of every modern self-help movement. In this exploration, you'll discover Leonidas's 9 eternal principles, adapted for modern reality. These guidelines merge Stoic philosophy, Spartan life wisdom, and the practical mindset required to face the 21st century with dignity. Each principle functions like a blade, sharp, direct, and non-negotiable, They aren't suggestions, they're commands for those ready to seize control of their destiny. Forget easy promises. This isn't designed for the weak-hearted. It's not about quick success or defeating others. It's about conquering yourself. While masses search for shortcuts, Leonidas offers you a path. Difficult, yes, but authentic. You're about to encounter truths that may disturb your comfort. But if you listen with an open soul, you might discover the strength that's been missing from your life. Leonidas's 9 principles don't exist to console you. They exist to transform you completely. Internal mastery. Principle 1. Rise as if marching to war. Leonidas never greeted dawn with laziness, distraction, or the mental fog that plagues modern society. For him, each morning represented destiny's silent but urgent summons to greatness. The battlefield offered no mercy for hesitation, no second chances for the unprepared, and Spartan life meant constant, relentless preparation for whatever combat awaited. In today's complex world, warfare isn't conducted with bronze spears and leather shields, but with split-second decisions, mental resilience, and unwavering focus. And your day's first crucial decision, the one that determines whether you'll lead or follow, occurs in those critical moments before you even leave your bed. The question isn't whether you have time for this morning ritual. The question is whether you can afford not to implement it. Modern neuroscience confirms what ancient Spartans knew instinctively. The first hour after waking determines your brain's neurochemical state for the entire day. When you begin with intention and discipline, you're literally rewiring your neural pathways for success, focus, and emotional regulation. Do you rise like a king or awaken like a slave? Do you seize control or surrender immediately to comfort? Rising as if marching to war isn't hyperbole. It's necessity, because the modern world will assault you with distractions, addictions, comparisons, insecurity, and complacency. Without mental armor, you'll be consumed before noon arrives. This is why your first hour determines your fate. The Stoics called this hegemonikon, the soul's rational center. When you awaken and activate this center with purpose, the remainder of your day follows your leadership. But when you wake without direction, any disturbance dominates you. This isn't about waking at 5 a.m. or following social media routines. It's about beginning each day with awareness, discipline, and determination, opening your eyes and remembering you're alive, and that this alone justifies the fight ahead. The day's first battle is silent. Win it, and everything else bends to your will. Principle 2. When lost, consult your mortality. In doubt's suffocating silence, when every option seemed equally treacherous, Leonidas turned to the most brutal yet clarifying question in human experience. If I die today, was this worthwhile? This isn't flowery poetic language designed to inspire. It's a stoic instrument of extreme clarity, sharp enough to cut through every layer of self-deception, rationalization, and wishful thinking. The Stoics called this profound practice memento mori, remembering death not as a morbid obsession, but as the ultimate focusing tool. When you truly confront the stark reality of your own ending, all lies vanish instantly. All comfortable illusions dissolve like morning mist. What remains is the purest, most distilled truth imaginable. What truly matters in this brief existence. What urgently requires your immediate action, and what you've been systematically ignoring while lost in trivial distractions. Here, ancient philosophy intersects brilliantly with modern neuroscience, quantum physics, and cutting-edge psychology. By interrogating your own mortality with unflinching honesty, you access a unique mental state where psychological time stops completely. Where the constant chatter of your ego-driven mind falls silent, where you can finally hear your subconscious wisdom without the filters of fear, social conditioning, or limiting beliefs. This question creates a direct, unobstructed channel to your deepest inner wisdom, The part of you that knows exactly what needs to be done, but gets drowned out by daily noise and distraction. Most people instinctively flee from this exercise because it penetrates their comfortable illusions and forces them to confront uncomfortable truths. But that psychological discomfort is precisely where its transformative power lies. Pain, as every warrior knows, is the most reliable portal to growth. Comfort is the enemy of evolution. Use this exercise during moments of uncertainty, anxiety, or paralysis. Stop, breathe. Ask, if today were my final day, would this still make sense? If the answer is no, you know what must be abandoned. If yes, you have permission to continue. At the boundary between life and ending lies invisible wisdom. Death cleanses ego and reveals essence. There, mind, soul, and purpose align perfectly. Principle 3. Before trusting gods, trust your courage. Spartans weren't devotees of heavenly promises. They respected the gods, but knew responsibility always began within themselves. Leonidas would never fold his arms, waiting for miracles. Today, many place faith in institutions, governments, religions, or external systems. They await a savior, a course, a miraculous solution, and while waiting, they sink deeper. The Stoic teaching is direct. You're responsible for what you feel, what you do, and what you decide. Nothing changes externally until you change internally. Trusting your courage doesn't mean acting without fear. It means acting despite fear. It means assuming control of your story even when everything seems against you. This isn't arrogance, it's self-responsibility. The Stoics called this autokeia, self-sufficiency. It's the capacity to maintain your dignity even under pressure. So before seeking the world's rescue, ask yourself, have you done everything possible with what you have? Have you taken a firm stand even without guarantees? If the answer is no, blame no one else. The gods assist the brave. Before expecting anything from the world, prove you're ready to act. Vision, legacy, and purpose. Principle 4. See beyond what eyes reveal. Most defeats in Sparta didn't come from enemy strength, but from perceptual failure. Leonidas knew the first ambush occurred in the mind, when you believe everything is as it appears. In the modern world, this ambush is constant. We live surrounded by edited images, calculated speeches, and distorted realities. Media lies, social networks manipulate. People disguise truth. Those who don't train vision beyond the obvious will be controlled constantly. This principle calls for strategic consciousness. Seeing isn't enough. You must perceive. Spartan vision was sharp because it came from vigilance, from complete attention, and from the ability to analyze everything with logic and calm, even under pressure. Daily, this translates to stopping impulsive actions, questioning intentions behind each situation, and developing the habit of reflection before reaction. This clarity is rare, and that's what makes it so powerful. Those who see what others ignore become leaders, and leaders survive even amid chaos. Train your perception. Most fall because they don't see where they step. Seeing the invisible is more lethal than wielding a sword. Principle 5. Prove worthy of your ancestors. Spartans had no surnames. They had lineage. They were sons of warriors, of martyrs, of men who understood that living is small, but honoring one's history is everything. Leonidas didn't march to Thermopylae only for Sparta. He went for Anaxandridas, his father, for Heracles, his mythological ancestor, for everyone who came before and made his existence something greater than himself. Today, we've lost this connection. Many don't even know their grandparents. They forget that the blood flowing through their veins was shed in battles, labors, humiliations, and conquests. The principle is simple. You're not here by accident. Someone fought for your existence. And you have a responsibility to that sacrifice. Being worthy of your ancestors doesn't mean living in the past. It means representing your lineage with posture, ethics, strength, and courage. It means honoring each choice, as if being observed by all who gave you origin. Do you want to leave pride or shame in the name you carry? You carry the blood of generations who fought, suffered, and conquered. Honor this in your choices, your conduct, and your courage. Principle 6. Use death as your compass. This principle connects to the previous one, but here the focus is immediate action. Leonidas knew time wasn't guaranteed. He marched toward death consciously, but with clear purpose. Today, we live as if we were eternal. We procrastinate important decisions, postpone conversations, hide feelings. And when the end comes, because it always comes, we realize everything we let slip away. Death is the most precise compass that exists. It shows what matters, eliminates the superfluous, and exposes truth with brutality. Therefore, use it. Imagine your last day, your final breath. What would you wish you'd done differently? What would you regret not having said? Where should you be now? This exercise isn't morbid, it's strategic. It activates your urgency. It organizes your priorities. It frees you from paralysis. Moreover, it aligns you with your mission, because when you live with death in mind, you live with an awakened heart. Ask yourself daily, if I died now, would this have been worthwhile? If the answer is no, you know what needs doing. Internal strength and confronting the invisible principle. 7. Face your demons before they choose to face you. Leonidas knew his external enemies well, but he also knew the internal ones. Fear, doubt, vanity, ego. These are the demons every warrior carries in silence. The fatal error of many modern men is ignoring this reality. They think danger lies outside, but true collapse begins within. It's useless having muscles, money, or influence if you're being sabotaged by your own emptiness. The rage that explodes, the addiction that repeats, the failure you perpetuate unconsciously. All these are manifestations of unconfronted demons. Stoicism doesn't tell you to deny darkness. It commands you to study it, observe your patterns with coldness, and face them with rational courage. Leonidas knew, if you don't know your weaknesses, the enemy will use them against you. Practically, this principle demands what few have courage for, looking at yourself with brutal honesty. What are your vices? Which behaviors do you repeat despite knowing they destroy you? What truths do you avoid confronting? This is the hardest battle, but also the only one worth fighting. Because the man who conquers himself fears no one else. Your vices, your fears, your traumas, face each as enemies planning your destruction. Either you fight or you'll be dragged down. Principle 8. Strengthen your soul before seeking money. Sparta wasn't a wealthy society, but it was feared and respected because its men were forged in values, not possessions. Leonidas would never place gold above virtue. For him, a man's strength lay in his soul, and everything he possessed should serve that strength, not the reverse. Today, society preaches the opposite, that your value lies in what you have, what you display, what you flaunt. This produces empty men with full accounts, and when crisis arrives, and it always does, they crumble. This principle invites you to reverse the logic. Before seeking to conquer the world, conquer yourself. Build non-negotiable internal values. Clarity, temperance, responsibility, resilience. Money is important, but it only reveals who you already are. If you're weak inside, it drowns you. If you're strong, it amplifies you. Strengthening the soul means being guided by purpose, not desire. It means having roots, not just wings. It means knowing exactly who you are, even without status, applause, or approval. Wealth without purpose is disguised decadence. Build internal value before seeking market value. Principle 9. Learn to transform pain into strength. Thermopylae wasn't a tragedy, it was conscious sacrifice. Leonidas knew he would die, but he also knew his death would inspire centuries of courage. This is this principle's essence, transforming what wounds into what strengthens. In modern life, everyone wants to avoid pain. We flee discomfort as if it were the enemy, but pain is the greatest teacher. It shows you where you're still weak, where you still deceive yourself, where you need to grow. The difference between the common man and the stoic man is what he does with suffering. One victimizes himself, the other forges himself. Transforming pain into strength is an active process. It's choosing to learn, adapt, and evolve from what hurts. It's seeing each fall as a step. This is a rare skill, but when you develop it, no one can stop you anymore, because you become anti-fragile. The more you're hit, the stronger you return. Pain is inevitable, but what you do with it is your choice. Remember, wounds can become armor. The eternal code lives on. Leonidas died at Thermopylae, his body pierced by countless arrows and spears, but his unbreakable code survived to inspire warriors across millennia. Each of these 9 principles carries infinitely more than mere words. They are razor-sharp swords, forged in the fires of authentic struggle. They systematically cut through comfortable illusions, completely shatter elaborate excuses, and brutally tear away the superficial layer of modern existence that keeps most people trapped in mediocrity. You don't need to stand on an ancient battlefield surrounded by enemy armies to apply this timeless wisdom. Your war is different but equally demanding. It's the daily battle against mediocrity's seductive whispers, against ego's constant sabotage, against precious time slipping away while you remain paralyzed by indecision. And now you possess something invaluable, a proven code forged by history's greatest warriors, a clear path forward when everything else seems uncertain. The moment of choice has arrived. You can easily ignore these principles and return to your comfortable routine. Pretend none of this penetrated your defenses. Continue repeating the same self-defeating patterns that have kept you small, safe, and ultimately unfulfilled. Or you can do something radically different. You can rise tomorrow with genuine discipline coursing through your veins. You can silence the endless noise of modern distraction and finally listen to what your mortality has been trying to tell you. You can decide that today, this very moment, you will begin living with authentic purpose rather than drifting through another meaningless day. Leonidas's indomitable spirit doesn't belong exclusively to ancient Greece or dusty history books. It belongs to every man and woman who categorically refuses to be just another forgettable face in the crowd, another casualty of contemporary comfort. The choice stands before you now, clear and undeniable. Continue being just another, or transform into what you were truly born to become. If any of these principles spoke to your soul, share your thoughts below. Write about the principle that cut deepest within you, and share this message with someone who needs awakening. Revolution doesn't begin with screams. It begins in silence, when a man decides to change. And when that man changes, the world changes with him. The code is yours now. Use it wisely.